to the third episode of Krishti Podcast presented by Bongo-Sonjiboni Sabha. The subject for our today's discussion is religious persecution of Hindus in East Pakistan, also known as Bangladesh. We have with us Dr. Mohit Roy, a distinguished writer and a leading voice fighting for the cause of minority Hindus. I welcome you, sir, and I extend my heartfelt gratitude.
Thank you very much inviting me in this program.
On this subject, we had a podcast in Bangla. Today, the discussion shall be in English. Sir, my first question to you is that you have highlighted again and again the role of Mahatma Gandhi, our first Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru, and extending up to the communists in downplaying the involvement of Muslims in the persecution of Hindus. And this narrative has indelibly has an impact on the prevailing mindset of present day West Bengal. In your view, what is the underlying philosophy or sentiment that perpetuates this deliberate denial when things happen in plain sight? Is it just a ploy to secure vote banks, even when it endangers our very existence?
No, I think it's not the vote bank issue only because when Mohandas Gandhi came to India and started his political activities, the vote bank politics was not that important. In fact, after even he came around 1916, so first India had some kind of voting in a to some extent in a democratic way in 1937 first. So thing is that what was the exact reason why Mohandas Gandhi came to India, or someone suspects that he was brought to India because the British rule was once protested or opposed by the Muslims of this country. Our what we call Sepoy Revolution and others, there is a big participations of Muslim against British rule. But however, after that, a elite group of Muslims understood that they have to work with the British rule so that their interests are safe, and those are again can be proceeded further. So from that on, the Islamists were never a threat to British rule. But the Hindus were being organized in a different way, whether it is some kind of uh, revolutionary activities in Punjab, in Bengal, in Mumbai. The Congress itself, which started as a very, I mean, polite organization started by an Englishman, but it also became quite nationalist. So I don't know, but when Mr. Gandhi, Mohandas Gandhi arrived in this scene, and what he continued, one very, very important thing is that he, in his life in India from 1960 to this 1948, he never criticized any Islamic atrocities or any Islamic thing. Height of it is that when in Khilafat movement started in 1916, it was basically due to the effect of World War in Turkey when Turkey's Islamic rule was finished by the British, and then Kamal Atatürk came. In all these things, in India, it has nothing to do with India, first thing. But a section of Muslims started that it is the Islam is in danger, Khilafat is in danger, and Mohandas Gandhi, the only Congress leader. It is very interesting that it's not that a lot of Congress people were supporting him or he was exceptionally only Hindu member in the Khilafat committee. He started that Khilafat movement as a Indian movement. Indian Congress has to help it. But not only that, it's maybe someone's political strategy, right or wrong. With this Khilafat movement, this was the start of officially supporting Islamic extremism in the country. And then there was Mopla massacre of Hindus in the border of this Kerala and Karnataka. And these Moplas are very extreme religious, or I would call Islamic fanatics, and they started a mass murder of the Hindus. But that is not important because it is normal, it happens a lot of time. Mohandas Gandhi, very specifically, he supported it in a different way. He said in his statement that, well, Hindus should take it that Muslims are doing their religious duty. He stood. And if you, I would quote Mr. Ambedkar, B.R. Ambedkar, he said that he can't think a person with a normal sense can say this kind of thing. And from that on, even say when Swami Shraddhanand was killed by the Muslim, Gandhi said that no, no, it was the problem is with the Hindus, right? When he went to Noakhali, when there was a genocide of Hindus, he told Hindu women that to take it easy, even they are raped, they have to accept it, right? So never, never in any situation Mohandas Gandhi criticized any Islamic thing. Now, somehow he got the control of Congress. I'm not going into details of that. And Congress mindset followed it totally. And because of we have Jawaharlal Nehru, who himself said that he is by birth a Hindu, right? Only. So this followed. So the establishment of Islamic fundamentalism in India. So Islamic groups are there always for last 1500 years. But to establish in Indian soil firmly was done by Mohandas Gandhi. And it was followed by Jawaharlal Nehru. You'll find, and specifically for this West Bengal situation, if you see that the future of West Bengal was partly decided by these two persons. First thing, Mohandas Gandhi said that the partition would be on his dead body, but he never followed it. He went to Noakhali, he could do nothing. He could do nothing, only advise Hindus to remain calm. In fact, he probably went to Noakhali so that the Hindus don't strike back. In 1946, just before Noakhali massacre, there was in 1946, 16th August, there was started the Calcutta massacre. You know this Great Calcutta Killings, which is generally described in the history books and others. It was started by the person, the Surabuddin. Mr. Surabuddin was the then Prime Minister. It was at that time Chief Minister. He was to be called Prime Minister of Bengal. He organized it meticulously on the Jinnah called for on 16th August action day, direct action day. Nobody knew what is the direct action, but the leaflet said what is the direct action. Anyway, Surabuddin organized in Calcutta, that time it is called Calcutta, now Kolkata, organized it meticulously so that the Hindus were attacked from the morning of the 16th August. But after 2 days of this one sided massacre by the Muslims, Hindus reacted. In fact, because of the retaliation, the Kolkata was saved. Kolkata is not now in Bangladesh or East Pakistan. And Surabuddin was to be called the butcher of Kolkata. Now, on the day of partition or independence, 15th August, where was Mr. Mohandas Gandhi? He came to Kolkata and he stayed with him, this Surabuddin. Because Surabuddin was a totally hated person at that time. He stayed at the Belegata residence there with the Surabuddin. That is, there is no attack on him. In fact, there was a Hindu mob who went to attack Mohandas Gandhi. Of course, at that time it was not so easy to attack Mohandas Gandhi. So Gandhi played this role that he stayed with Butcher of Calcutta to save him from any kind of retaliation. So this is the role of Gandhi on the communal politics in India for 40 years. He totally ruled this country to the Congress party. And you talk about Jawaharlal Nehru. I'm not going to this detail about the Congress rule before independence. Now, at the time of independence, there was no population exchange in Bengal. That happened in Punjab. And if you see, in last 70 years, there is no Hindu-Muslim problem in both the Punjab, Indian Punjab and Western Punjab. And if you see these population statistics, then you'll find that in Indian Punjab, what we call Punjab, in Pakistan Punjab also they call it only Punjab. We have Punjab University at both sides, right? But issue is that in Indian Punjab there was a 30% population of Muslims before partition, and it came down to 2% after partition. And it have not increased much till now. It has, I think, gone up to 3%, something like this. Similarly, it happened other side of the border. This should have been done in Bengal also, because I again quote Ambedkar because he is most acceptable now for different reasons. He said in his on his papers on Pakistan in 1940 that only solution to communal problem is exchange of two communities. He was very clear about that. He said very militarily and other things in detail that these two communities, and he has, if people who have gone through his writing, he has a very basic, I would like to use the term hatred to this whole Islamic history, what they have done in India or also outside India. Now, in 1940, nobody bothered about it. But in 1947, when the partition was going to happen, then Shama Prasad Mukherjee wrote to the Governor General of India that we need a exchange of population. This is in, I think, May 1947. And he gave the exact numbers that I will not quote the numbers because I may be wrong, but how many Muslims will be displaced from West Bengal to East Bengal, and how many Hindus will be displaced. And that was a manageable number. And that would have made us what Punjab have achieved, that there is no Hindu Muslim problem. Now, it was not done. Then in 1950, in 1950, in East Pakistan, there was another started a genocide on Hindus. Because in what happens in Pakistan and Bangladesh, the atrocities on Hindus is a day-to-day affair, everyday affair. You are insulted or different way. But sometimes there has been a mass murder kind of things. In 1950, when it happened, there lot of Hindus, refugees, started to come. And one of the most important refugees his name is Jogendranath Mondal. He was the leader of the scheduled caste group, what they call it Dalit. It is a, I don't know what is this term. Ambedkar never used this term. Anyway, he was the leader of the scheduled caste section of the population, and he was also made the law minister of Pakistan. He was a close follower of Jinnah. He had to run away. A minister of Pakistan, he is running away and coming to India. And his resignation letter from Pakistan assembly and ministry, he was written after coming to Calcutta, that was very explicit that no Hindus are safe in Pakistan. Now, at that time, the issue came into Indian Parliament also, and that time, then again, this population exchange was proposed, and it was not proposed by only Bengali MPs; it was also proposed by MPs from other states also. But again, Jawaharlal Nehru just did not give any importance to it. And even not only that, not only the no exchange of population, then Jawaharlal did, which he has decided the fate of West Bengal, that he's made a treaty with the Pakistani Prime Minister Liaquat Khan. Now, Pakistani prime ministers, in last 70 years, there is no prime minister in Pakistan has ruled for 5 years, right? Maximum Imran Khan last he was did for 4.5 years, but then again he has to resign and arrested. So Liaquat Khan was just a prime minister for a year. Then he, I think, fled to England. Anyway, Jawaharlal Nehru signed a treaty with Liaquat Khan, very well known as Nehru Liaquat Pact. There, it was a very solemn pact on the paper that both countries would take care of their minorities. The minorities who have come to the other sides, they will go to their own homeland, and their protection and everything would be given by that state. Now, Nehru in his cabinet had two Bengali ministers. One was Shyamaprasad Mukhopadhyay, and other was Shyamaprasad Mukhopadhyay was not a congressman anyway. But the other one was Kritish Chandra Niyogi. He is from Krishnanagar, a very learned man and a very, respected Congress leader. Both of them, both of them resigned. Just think of the situation. You are taking the decision on Bengal, West Bengal, and both the minister from West Bengal is resigning from Jawaharlal Nehru's cabinet, and he is not bothered. And why they are resigning? They say this is the end of, I mean, it will they endanger the whole future of West Bengal, because Shama Prasad in his resignation letter wrote that the Hindus will continue to come, and even Muslims who had gone back, they would come back, and this will go on. No Hindu will go back to who have come will go back to Pakistan, and that has happened in last 70 years. Even today, some Hindus are coming. So Nehru Liaquat Pact done by Jawaharlal Nehru, it has destroyed the future of West Bengal. And this whole basis was, I mean, foundation was prepared by Mohandas Gandhi. So I think any Bengali, political understanding things, these two persons needs to be identified and should be marked as the major culprits for today's situation in West Bengal.
Yes, sir.
Uh,
Also, sir, we see that the
mm,
impact is
mm,
so immense
mm,
that even today, when things are happening in front of our eyes, the intellectuals per se, they still have the audacity to deny these things and term them or label them as something to be of very trivial nature. So, how
So
can one
yes,
do that? Like, yes, sir.
yeah, you see what Mohandas Gandhi started and achieved, that our leftist people they continued in West Bengal. Right? Now there are a lot of theories, or of course there are some basics reasons for that, that communism was introduced by this British rule. They allowed communist pamphlets and other things in the jail. A lot of our revolutionaries were jailed when they came out. Even this Chittagong revolutionaries, they came out, they became communists and everything. So communists had one basic thing in India, that Muslims should not be criticized in any way. In fact, it is not just a what I am saying that he is a communal person. If you see, after left front came in West Bengal, in left front rule, they published a circular from education department, a official circular. They said in the history books, the Islamic rule should not be criticized. The temples and other religious places destroyed by the invaders should not be mentioned. It's very clear. There is no ambiguity in it, right? So, what happened after the partition? There's refugees are coming. So initially, these refugees organizations were led by the Congress leaders, because the Hindu leaders were the Congress leaders in East Bengal. They have come in West Bengal, so they took up the leadership. But what happened? Due to Nehru Liaquat Pact, now to the central government, all the Hindus who have come here, they are not refugees. They will again go back, right? Because of the pact. So, central government, I mean the Congress government, they stopped they stopped the refugee grant to the West Bengal. It did not stop, they have lessened it. So to the Punjab refugees, there was huge, uh, fund, whatever at that time government could do. But Bengal refugees were not provided with sufficient grant. So then the leadership was taken by 1950s to 53, they were taken by the leftists. And then till then 70s, the leftists were the main organizer of the refugees here. Now they maintained a very crucial thing, that well, they did a lot of for refugees, right? For their rehabilitation, for their economic opportunities, they did a lot. Establishing the colonies, their rights, that has to be said. But they kept it a very important thing, that why they have become refugees, that should never be mentioned, that should never be discussed. In fact, if you find a lot of literatures, stories, novels about the refugees, there is no talk of why they have become refugees. Only uh, they about their poor plights here, how they are facing different kind of situations. And one of the, I say, the poster boy of this is Ritik Ghatak, who is very much respected in West Bengal. There is a metro station named after him. Now, what he did some films on the refugee life. Whether they were good film or bad film, I'm not a film, critic. I would not say anything. But he did in extent the sorrows of refugees here, how they are not, getting job or all other things. But he never mentioned why they were refugees. And it's not that he didn't know, but it was a oversight, nothing. It was the leftist, I mean, thinking that it should not be said. It's not only that. Our famous, songwriters and Sholil Chaudhary, others, they have also wrote something on refugees. They never said why it is. So in West Bengal, the whole intellectual ambience was created that nothing should be talked about the Islamic things. And you remember, when this is going on, say 1950 to 1970, there is East Pakistan. And in East Pakistan, there is regular attacks on the Hindus. And there had been number of genocides. In 1964, there was a false rumor that this hair of Hazrat Muhammad has been kept in some Kashmir mosque, Hazrat Bal, that has been stolen. That was a rumor. In fact, it was obtained, but there's a rumor something in Kashmir, but 3,000 kilometers away, the Hindus were being slaughtered in Bangladesh. With all these things, and those news also came to some extent in our newspapers. But the lefties and intellectuals, they maintained this control that nothing should be talked about the Islamic violence or anything. And it goes up to today. You see, Toslima Nasrin, right? She is in Delhi legally. She has no police case in against her in West Bengal or anywhere. She goes to different places in India for different kind of problems. She can't come to West Bengal. Why? She is a poet, well-known poet. So what is the West Bengal intellectuals are doing? So thing is that the left did such a thing in such a way, and the left propaganda is so powerful that you will find that they can make anything established, right? I'll tell this one person that if someone comes from outside, say abroad, and say, who is the greatest poet here? So you will see that Rabindranath Tagore, he won the Nobel Prize. Who is the number two? If he moves around West Bengal, he will find the number two poet is Sukanto Bhattacharya. Because West Bengal has maximum, after Rabindranath, in the name of a poet, the maximum number of places and street, even one metro station, is named after Sukanto Bhattacharya. Now, what that poet did, he died very young, I think around 21, 22 years. He wrote some good poems. There have been at least several hundred poets like him who have written some good poems at that age. Now, he was popularized by the famous singers like Hemant Mukherjee and the musician by composer by great Solil Chowdhury. So they made his poems into songs that become a very hit, and that made him such a big poet. A footnote into the history of Bengali literature will be Sukanta Bhattacharya, but he is the taken as a great poet. So this is the power of leftist propaganda. This is the power of leftist propaganda. With that propaganda, they maintained that nothing should be talked of the Islamic violence on East Bengal. But it was the Hindu Muslim, this compromise that they are our friends, this is the communal harmony. This was the topic till 1970. Now, after 1971, Bangladesh happened. Then their narration changed. Their new narratives was that we both sides are Bengalis, right? We speak the same language. And the most fundamental lie they have spread, and everyone is absorbed. I mean, I found that the important political leaders, otherwise they are quite well educated, well read persons, they also believe that Bangladesh was established on the basis of a language. It is the Bengali nationalism, Bengali language, that's 21st century. And it's a total lie. I will come to that later. So then they started a new narrative. They think two Bengals are, we are both Bengalis. And again, besides all other things, from 1972 onwards, first few years were a little bit good. Refugees are coming. So all these Bengalis, all are Bengalis. We are, both same brother, sister. But the refugee situation is continuing. They kept it high in hiding. But that means live. It's not all the party. It's the whole intellectual society, whether it is press, whether historian, whether it is a sociologist, whether this is the filmmakers. Everything maintained this thing that everything is okay in Bangladesh. I, in a different interview, I also said that I am little happy what's happening in Bangladesh now, because now it is being shown in all Bengali TVs, in all Bengali newspapers. But again, I'm saying it's nothing new. This is happening for last 75 years, and this whole narrative has started to fail that we are both Bengalis. Okay, so should I come to that chapter now?
Yes, sir. I would like you to shed some light on this aspect. As you said, that language
Hmm.
cannot be the marker of identity or nationality. So, according to you, sir, what are the essential qualities or tenets of the Bengali identity that would make
Hmm.
one
Hmm.
Bengali, not
You
only
see,
the language?
right. See, I'll just tell about the first, then I'll come to the creation of Bangladesh. First thing, this language, it was also said by other, major writers like Tagore, that language does not make a nation, right? The European colonies, they have erased all the major languages in South America, right? They mainly speak Spanish. In Brazil, they speak Portuguese. Now, this Marquez write in Spanish, but we don't call him a Spanish writer, right? He is a Latin American writer. Messi speaks in Spanish. You don't call him a Spanish thing. Or take the case of English. The Caribbean islands, they all speak English because their own language has been, whacked out. Don't call them in a Caribbean person English. So language, or Australian or American. So language, then what makes it? So my thing is that whose mother tongue is Bengali is not a Bengali, right? He is a Bengali speaking person. Then how one can become Bengali? You see, Bengal has been mentioned in Indian literature several thousand years back. If you see the Mahabharata, there is Bongo Sena, right? So this Bongo, Kolingo are mentioned at the same thing, Ongo, Bongo, Kolingo, right? So what I say that whose mother tongue is Bengali and who accepts the inheritance of 5,000 years of Indian culture, Indian ভারতীয় সংস্কৃতি, right? Whatever you call it, Sanatani Sanskriti, Bharatiya Sanskriti, and this starts from our Indus Saraswati civilization to today, and there, and we have a pluralistic civilization. You may have some faith in some part, some it's not. You have not to that I have to obey with all the traditions. That is our strength. We have so many gods, so many kind of beliefs, and all we stay together because we don't hate each other thing. That's okay. You believe it in this way, you go in this way. So he or she is a Bengali, not because that way Bangladeshis are not Bengali, and they also claim it that way, right? They think that all Bengali thing starts from 1200 years back, 1000 years back, when that Muslim invader, oh, I'm just forgetting the name, who invaded Bengal, right? And they said in anything they will say 1,000 years. They have BBC has conducted that kind of survey or thing. Who is the greatest Bengali in 100,000 years? Why 1,000 years? Why not 5,000 years? Why not 2,000? Because they have kept the Bengali thing of 1,000 years. That is a very it is not a kind of a construct by extremists or some imams and others. Bangladeshi intellectuals have constructed this thing very, well constructed, that this Bengali nationality has started to become from 1,000 years. So, and now their main claim is that it was all done by the Muslim rurals who have claimed here, and they also say the Bengali language was created by them only after the British came. These Vidyasagars and others, they have polluted it and make it Hinduized. That's their concept. I don't mind what they're talking about. I mind about what we should talk about. And this whole Bangladesh was created out of the 1970 election in Pakistan. Right? Now, it should be remembered that in 1970, first time in Pakistan, there was a general election. Before that, Pakistan had elections, but all those are regional elections. You remember that in India, by that time, we had 5 general elections, right? And Pakistan is having its fast. So you can understand the cultural difference, the democratic, feeling of a nation which have conducted 5 general elections. I am not talking about the state elections. Pakistan has not conducted any one. Now in 1970, they conducted the first one man, one vote, one person, one vote rather. So in that one, they never thought that one East Pakistan party can win nearly all the seats of East Pakistan. In fact, out of 160 seats in East Pakistan, Awami League won 158, right? So naturally, in a democratic country, they will be the prime minister, they will be the ruler of Pakistan, but that was not accepted. It is not only the People's Party of Pakistan, Mr. Bhutto, also the Pakistani military ruler. They cannot accept it. That so what happened? So they did not accept it. They started a military rule. So there was a conflict, and there was a heavy repression. And it remember this repression is 90% on Hindus only. Why? Hindus were not major leaders of Awami League. Hindus were not a major political force in that way, but they were sure, and I think they were right also partly, that all these things happening is because of the Hindu influence on East Pakistani culture and politics. So, what we have to do, we have to erase the existence of Hindus. And in fact, Pakistan was nearly successful in that. If you see the massacre, you see, you can't massacre 1 crore people. But Pakistan did. Pakistan did nearly 25 lakhs of Hindus, and they were only killed because of Hindus, not because they were Awami League supporters, not they were like they were fighting or they were protesting. It was just genocide. Just in one place in Chuknagar, 31st May 1971, Pakistan army killed 12,000 Hindus. These are all recorded. Even you can get it in a very secular Wikipedia also, right? Now, and also they were successful. Nearly all the Hindus, 90% of Hindus, they left East Pakistan, came to India. So India's population was then 55 crores. And then 1 crore refugees entered. For a country, it's a huge shock. I mean, you have a 2% of your population coming from outside. Now, somehow Indira Gandhi tackled it very well. These refugees were, with our biggest Indian financial condition, they were provided with shelter, some food, something. And there was also Indian army provided to this Mukti Bahini, but that was only a preparatory stage. I think Indira Gandhi saw that this problem is basically for us. Whatever Bangladesh or East Pakistan is having, our problem is a refugee problem, right? Our economy cannot stand it. So she took a decision that we have to finish this thing by force. So she entered, allowed to Indian army. They did it in 13 days. They have captured it. They captured it in 13 days, and today's Bangladesh has come. Now, if I say what were the demands of Awami League on basis they won that election, right? Was that Bengali nationality? Was that demand for Bengali language, or secularism, or rights of minorities? Nothing. They had this called 6 point demand, and they made this 6 point demand long back in 1966. They said that Pakistan should be a federal country, right? What? On the basis of Lahore resolution. In their 6 point, first thing is that on the will follow the basis of Lahore resolution on which Pakistan has been formed, and that says it should be a federal country. Hmm. So East Pakistan need East Pakistan need East Pakistan need a a kind of a uh, more power to them. And in fact, their 6 demands were that they should have a lot of economic rights and other things, and also wanted an armed force, especially for East Pakistan. Right? There was no talk of any Bengali nationality, Bengali language, secularism, minorities, nothing. In fact, there is a very famous writer, and he was a very important political leader, even in the combined Bengal also, Abul Mansur Ahmed. His biography is very popular. He writes in a very soothing language. So he said, he wrote in his that autobiography, আমার রাজনৈতিক জীবনের 50 বছর, that India has helped us to accomplish the Lahore resolution properly. Because in the Lahore resolution, there was no mention of the term Pakistan itself. In fact, in Lahore, there is what you call Minare Pakistan for this resolution. It is so important, right? Now, in the Lahore resolution itself, there was no mention of Pakistan. It was also said there will be number of Muslim sovereign states. So Abul Mansur Ahmad said that, see, there is no mention of the term Pakistan. There will be number of sovereign states. Now we are two sovereign states. The Western people, they have kept their name Pakistan. In eastern part, we have kept our name Bangladesh. So it is another Pakistan. He says it. There should be no confusion, and that is the truth. Bangladeshi people never bothered about secularism, and in fact, to be more frank, in no Islamic society has any kind of secularism in it. Whether there are minorities, they, I mean, live just because of they feel pity on them. In fact, Islam also allowed it. They call it, I'm just forgetting the term. They allow it that way. And if you see the whole from Libya to come to Indonesia, everywhere in Islamic society there is no minorities. Even there are some minorities. They are so much subjugated. So in East Bengal or East Pakistan or Bangladesh, it is the fate of the Hindus in a normal condition. You have not to have anything big. And that was perpetuated by two persons, as I said before, Mohandas Gandhi and Jawaharlal Nehru. Unless till now today, if there is no exchange of population, there is no future of Hindus there. Or if India becomes a strong country and takes a strong, step. What can be step? It can be diplomatic in a different way. I don't want to mention that. But Indira Gandhi has shown what can be done. But today, I get a number of phones from Bangladesh. Dada, what would happen to us? You go to hell. You go to because we cannot support because our government has not, and the ruling party both at the center and their branch in the state, they have not till now mentioned a single step for the except some dry this paper mentioning some things. So this is the situation, and this whole issue of Bengali nationality, which this the new cover versus the first 25 years past Pakistani rule, it was communal harmony, right? And next 50 years of Bangladesh, it was one Bengali nationality. It's just artificial border. It has nothing. We are both brothers. They are coming here. Epar Bangla, Opar Bangla. All this falsification and the fake history, and that fake history carried through our not only to the history only if there's in deep only academics should read, or some people who are not historians like us, we have to take interest because our fate is related, linked to it. But other people mostly will see a film, will read a story, will read a popular novel, something like all these things. There is one point common: never talk of any kind of Islamic violence on the Bengalis in Bangladesh, and it is also happening in West Bengal also. In West Bengal, there are Islamic violence; they are not mentioned. If you see in our day-to-day newspaper, if there is some miscreants, his or her name is not given, which community he or she belongs to. Right? So this is the situation with the uh, Bangladesh, what is going on. I am not talking about the recent what happened. That it has its another chapter lying. But basic thing is that in a Islamic society, you deserve this kind of treatment.
Yes, to answer what is currently happening with the Hindu minority in Bangladesh is being attributed to the shift in government and accession of Muhammad Yunus to power.
Mm.
But what I would want to ask here is that does this problem simply arise from a particular section of the so called fringe element or radical element in Bangladesh, or it has some deeper roots, or the issue is way more complex than it is being perceived?
So, It's not, I don't find it very complex, right? First thing, if you, as I say, whatever we get facts and data about Hindu minorities and their plights, both economically and everywhere, nothing has been done by the Bengali historian and sociologist. We are ashamed that this this Statistical Research Institute (ISI) that started in Calcutta. It has one of the main, offices in Calcutta. They did nothing. If you ask about how many refugees have come, they know nothing. They know nothing. Because they have done no research. And what is the number of infiltration on anything in Islamic violence here? And there is a strong academic lobby who just say there is no infiltration. Even when from 1970, 50 to 71, Muslim population remained static nearly. Then 71 to 2011, it suddenly rise from 20%. Now it is around 30% or more. That day, our mayor has said it's 33%. How? No Indian historian who talk or sociology talk about it, because their career will be totally destroyed. So they follow this thing. But Bangladesh has some people who has the guts, who has the what you call backbone, which our these intellectuals don't have, the sociologists don't have, historians don't have. I will say the best historians now in Bengal is Tathagata Rai, hmm, who is a civil engineer. Right now in Bangladesh, there are Abul Barkat, a major economist of Bangladesh, who did seminal work on the plights of Hindus. And if you see that work, and he said that on average every day 678 persons leave Bangladesh. Does any shows the face of any civilized society? And this is happening both whether there is Khaleda Zia, whether there is Sheikh Hasina, whether there is Muhammad Ershad, it's all same. So the at some period, sometime the atrocities rise very high. There are more things, but silently, this silent, uh, I mean, what do you call ethnic cleansing of history is going on for last 75 years in this Pakistan. And I say our intellectuals, our sociologists, our historians are worse than Islamic miscreants, because they are doing because they feel it is their duty religiously. And our intellectuals, their duty is to hide it. So now I say, but what happened this time? Of course, the every ruler has sometimes goes beyond his or her, you know, capacity. Now, Sheikh Hasina came to power in 2000, I think 8, right? So the basic thing she came to power is that 10 years back there was a, accord within that there should be a neutral caretaker government during the time of election, so that the election becomes impartial. Both Sheikh Hasina, Begum Zia was a party. In that election procedure, first time Begum Zia, I mean, Sheikh Hasina won. Next time Begum Zia won. Next time Sheikh Hasina won. That was a normal procedure. But after Sheikh Hasina won second time, and it was a not only a some kind of simple agreement, it was a part of the constitution. She amended the constitution, threw out that clause, and says no such caretaker government. Just like as it goes on, she had a election commission also, and she is winning last three elections there, and everyone knows. In fact, previous election was said to be the most of the votes were given in the night, right? So it was a rampant corruption, rampant violation of democracy. There is no doubt of it. And our league was ruling the whole country. That's like it. They have their own student swing. Of course, in their situation, there will be the only miscreants will be the leaders. That is true. So what happened this time is that there is a student protest, but that student protest was not very, because students demanded that this quota for the freedom fighters, And I say that these freedom fighters are mostly fake. But if you see the official number of freedom fighters, is a website Bangladesh government, it is annually 2.5 lakhs. Pakistan had a 1 lakh army there. This whole 2.5 freedom fighters are a fake one, right? But they all get different kind of pensions and other things. Bangladesh has at least 1,000 books on this freedom fighting, which are mostly fake. Now, so, and they also get some quota, nearly 30% quota in government jobs and other things. So students were protesting. Awami League also agreed to that. Awami League, Sheikh Hasina agreed to that. It was reduced to 5% or 8% from 30%. But it was stopped by High Court because there was an appeal. Now, when this movement started, after 3 weeks of the movement, there is the appeal was heard, and then this appeal was thrown out. That means the student won on the court, the student movement. But there is a greater plan on that. At this Muhammad Yunus, the Nobel laureate, he stated in the New York in the Clinton Foundation's meeting that it was all pre-planned, and he also invited one of the planners, Mahfuzul Islam, I think the name, who is a well-known Jamaat-e Islami organizer, on the stage, and showed him he is one of the main planner. So the right-wing extreme fundamentalists took the situation, also supported by the Western government, because all Western government, I think after Trump comes, there may be some changes, but all the Western government, European government, they succumb to all Islamic things, right? In the name of diversity and all blah blah. Now they took planned this situation. So then after this, students' demands were accepted. So they said, no, this is not our main demand. Our main is the change of a government. And you know what happened. The thing is that it has nothing to do with the Hindus. It was nothing to do with the Hindus. But all the attacks started like on the Hindus. It's like in mid-century in the Europe. If there was any kind of plague or something, that would be called that it is because of the Jews, and the Jews would be attacked. So it's like you just need an excuse, and Hindus would be attacked. This is going on. But my problem is that, okay, something is happening in another country. We don't have any kind of ruler, kind of any kind of uh, we can't do anything in that country. They had been dying by their own people, right? Now, if these people want to have that kind of rule, they are having it. We cannot do anything. I mean, it's the part. Why we are worried? Why I am talking? First thing, we have a responsibility on the Hindu communities there. That is our basic communities, because they hold the 5,000 years of our cultural traditions. Secondly, this thing is increasing the strength of the Islamic fundamentalists in West Bengal. And West Bengal Hindus are afraid what they would do, because here we have a government which, I mean, in a way, has always supported the Islamic extremists in this state. We have found a lot of things, Khagragor, Kalia Chowk, and different kind of things. So now what would happen to us? This is a signal to us that think of your future, forget about us. We are doomed. But what is your future? What is my future? To me, let's be think very selfish. I'm not had any thinking about the Bangladeshi Hindus. I'm thinking about myself. I am a person refugee family. Should I again have to go to be a refugee from this my state? Go to Jharkhand, Bihar, or Orissa? This is the real question today in West Bengal, and that has to be answered by West Bengal people. How? In maybe different way. I'm not a planner for everyone, but this question has to be solved. Otherwise, only future, only future of West Bengal is West Bangladesh. This is the future of West Bengal. I think talked enough. I should stop here today. What do you think?
So, if I just ask you one last question.
Sure, sure.
You had mentioned in your talks that India did not take any constructive measure in this to address this problem.
Till today.
Naturally, it is expected for India to act as a superpower or as a neighboring nation or as a leading power in the South Asian region. But do you not believe that India has a greater civilizational obligation towards the persecuted Hindus, whether in Pakistan or in Bangladesh?
No, I think you have attributed something to Indian government superpower, power in the. I do not believe on those things, right? If you are unless you show your power, how do I know whether you are superpower or lesser power, right? So I agree with you. I'm not saying whether India. Say, Indira Gandhi was not a superpower, right? Hmm. But most important thing, we have not opened the border for the refugees. See, if you can't save them, let them come here. You arrange camps for them. What I'm not saying that you allow them to go to anywhere in the country or anything, or give them citizenship or anything, but you allow refugee camps. Invite the United Nations. Invite the praise of the other country. There the refugees can talk there. There they can't talk. So I think we have not acted. Not forget about this power or anything. Or someone says we have 3 trillion economy. That's all rubbish. It does not have any, I mean, relation with today's situation. Here we have to save because we have these 5,000 years of cultural traditions, and for this, if that is perished in Bangladesh, that will impact not only West Bengal total first, total northeast India. Hmm. And then it will be one step together, one step forward to destabilize India. That needs to be understood. So thank you very much. Hmm. You have any other question? Otherwise, I will thank you all for inviting me today.
Well, thank you so much, sir. I extend my sincere gratitude for sparing your time and providing such comprehensive and insightful answers to all our inquiries. And on behalf of Bongo-Sonjiboni Sabha and Krishti Podcast, I thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Namaskar.
Good. Namaskar. Good night.